Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay. It is Toronto at Seattle. Jimmy Key against Mike Morgan. It's game number 296 overall in the replay. And the final game on May the 25th, 1987. So on Monday morning, we'll be back to starting May 26th. Singles at the Kingdome are only 1 to 5 for lefties and righties, but the home runs chime in at 1 to 17 for lefties and righties. So definitely an advantage there for the batters here at the Kingdome, which is going to make it interesting because Jimmy Key is doing everything in this replay as far as pitching goes. He's 9-0 with an ERA of below 1.5. So how will he handle and negotiate the Kingdome's offensive proclivities? We will find out in this one. Got to bring the game up on the Stratomatic computer so I can get all these stats for you. Hello, Jeffrey. Good to see you. And of course, got to have the tools of the trade. Can't do without it. It's like the American Express card. Can't leave home without it. I can't leave downstairs without it. Cool, Ben. I used to love PTO days. Now, pretty much every day is well, it's not a PTO. I got TO days. I don't have PTO days. I'm not getting paid, but I do have TO days. How about that? All right. So we're ready to begin this ball game. Toronto comes into the game 27-14, and they are in a struggle with the Brewers and the Yankees. They're all three clumped together in that American League East. Seattle's at the bottom of the American League West, so they're just trying to not embarrass themselves, basically. But they can play spoiler, so you never know. So, all right. So, first of all, Mike Morgan is on the mound for the Seattle Mariners. He was 12-17 with a 4.65 real world record. In the replay, he's 2-4, ERA of 4.01, 61 innings pitched, 68 hits, 14 walks, and 16 strikeouts. And leading things off will be Tony Fernandez, shortstop. He's hitting 372 on the replay in 172 at bats. He hit 322 real world. He's a switch hitter. He'll bat left-handed, and we're underway from the Kingdome. 6-6, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field for John Moses. And that's how this game starts at the Kingdome. Hello, Bart. Good to see you. And hello, Chuck. I know Chuck is riding high with his Detroit Tigers defeating Cleveland in the wild card playoff. Now they get to go, and play Seattle, I'm assuming. So, all right, here is Rance Mulliniks. Mulliniks is the designated hitter in this game. He's hitting 330 on the replay, 4 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 310 real world. 311, and that's a ballpark blast from Mulliniks. And it's a 17, so like I said, there you go, 17, right on the number. So that's going to be gone. Rance Mulliniks taking advantage of the Kingdome right there as he deposits one for a home run. That is his 5th home run of the replay. He hit 11 real world in 332 at bats. In at bat 92, he hits number 5, and that's RBI number 18. And the Blue Jays jump out to a 1-0 lead. Here's Willie Upshaw. Upshaw on the replay hitting 213, a homer and 13 driven in. He hit 244 real world. 5-5, and it's a ground ball to second where Harold Reynolds, fresh off watching baseball tonight to figure out how to field these things, makes the play. All right, here is George Bell. Bell, left fielder, hitting 276 on the replay. 10 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 308 real world. 1-5, and there you go. This one's for you, Jeff. 1-5, clean as a baby's ass. 1-5. Right-handed, no doubt about it. Remember, George Bell hit 47 home runs in 1987, and he connects again, another solo home run off Mike Morgan. And for Bell, that's home run number 11 in his 164th at bat. He had 610 at bats real world. and that's RBI number 29. So the Blue Jays, with 2 solo home runs, lead it 2-0. And here's Ernie Whitt. Whitt on the replay is hitting .298, 5 homers, 18 driven in. He at .269 real world. 4-6. That's a strikeout for Morgan to end the inning, but 2 solo home runs give the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead after just half an inning of play. And they turn it over to the best pitcher in the replay, Jimmy Key. Real world, Jimmy Key was 17-8 with a .276 ERA. On the replay, he is 9-0 with a 1.48 earned run average. 79 innings pitched, only 54 hits allowed, 21 walks, 55 strikeouts. And John Moses, a switch-hitting center fielder, will lead off. And let's see here. On the replay, Moses is hitting .225, 2 homers, 19 driven in. He at .246 real world. That's a 6'9" switch hitter batting right-handed, and that's a base on ball. So Jimmy Key is going to walk Moses. Uncharacteristic for Jimmy Key to be doing that. Moses now could try to get the lead, but Jimmy Key is a -6 hold. And you compare that with Whitt 0 arm, so that's a -5. So if he got the lead, it would not be a good chance. So they will hold Moses at first base. He won't go anywhere. And that'll bring up Phil Bradley. Bradley hitting .209 on the replay, 4 homers, 13 driven in. He's really disappointing. He had .297 real world. It's a 4-11. That's a fly ball right field X. Now, interestingly enough, Jesse Barfield is getting the game off, and Rick Leach is in right field. A much, much less. And Jimmy Key wasn't happy about it, I can tell you that, because Barfield is a 1 E3 in right field. Rick Leach is a 4 E6. So this could be, you could have some balls dropping in the outfield. And with Jimmy Key pitching, you just don't want to have a poor outfielder. But that's what we got. He's a 4 E6. So we're going to roll and see what happens on Rick Leach's 4 E6. And we'll get a double dive. 4-4. That's going to be a double 2 stars. That'll put Moses to third base. And that is directly a result of having Rick Leach in right field instead of Mosby. Instead of Barfield. Barfield would have caught that. That would be a fly out to right, and it'd be 2 out. It'd be the first out of the inning. That's a 9, and Rick Leach is an E6. So there's no 9 there, but he's going to allow that double. He's going to allow that double. And Jimmy Key is really hot about it, I can tell you that. All right, so here's John Christensen, the right fielder. On the replay, he's hitting .286 with a homer and 3 driven in. He hit .242 real world. Infield for the Jays is playing back. They need outs. 2-7. It's ground ball shortstop A with a plus sign. Good thing they played back, because that would have been a single through the infield for a 2-run single. But by playing back, they get the out, and I don't even think the run scores because it went to short. I don't know. Let's double check. I'll go to our official. Since it went to short, he probably did score. I think it's just the corner outfielder or corner infielders that don't score. But we'll confirm. We will confirm. So infield back, second and third. Ground ball A is a 5. If hit to second or short, batter out, runner advances 1 base. Okay, so both runners will advance because it went to short. So Bradley goes to third. Moses will score. And out on the play at 6-3 is Christensen. But had they played the infield in, that would have been a 2-run single. So at least it was a wise decision to play the infield back. Now with 1 out and a runner at third, they're going to play the infield in for Jim Presley. The Hound Dog. The Hound Dog's hitting .220 on the replay, 10 homers, 33 driven in. He at .247 real world. That's a 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Jimmy Key. Much needed. And now the infield can go back to normal. As Alvin Davis steps to the plate in a clutch situation. And Alvin Davis loses a hit on 2-8 against lefties. So Jimmy Key a chance to get out of this with just the 1-run damage. Davis hitting .297 on the replay, 7 homers, 21 driven in. He hit .295 real world. So right on the money there, 297 to 295. That's a 110, and that's a ground ball right back to Jimmy Key, and that's going to end the inning. So Jimmy Key gave up a run, but it really wasn't his fault. It was shoddy defense. Like I said, had Barfield been in there, he would have gotten out of there unscathed. But they decided to give Rick Leach a game in right field, and I don't know. Don't understand that one, but there you go. All right, here's Lloyd Moseby. Moseby in center field, hitting 296 on the replay, 12 homers, 42 driven in. He had 282 real world. 2-9, and that's a ground ball to second. Harold Reynolds once again making the play. One away, and that will send up Rick Leach. Leach getting a rare start. He's only had 23 at-bats. He's hitting 217 on the replay. No homers, 2 driven in. He hit 282 real world. 5-7 is a ground ball second base X, and Harold Reynolds. We'll see if he can take what he learned from baseball tonight and figure it out and see if he can field it. He's a 2E21. 2 and a 16. Oh, a double die almost turned to a 3, but the 16 saves him, and he will make that play. Now we're just checking for an error. That's an 11, and he is an E21 at second base. There is no 11, so Harold Reynolds will make the play. 2 down. 2 up and 2 down, and that brings up Kelly Gruber, the third baseman. Gruber on the replay is hitting 326, 6 homers, 16 driven in. He only hit 235 real world, so he's way above his skis. 3-6, and that's a 1-3 single. Double die's a 4, though, so he lines it to short, where Quinones will make the play, and that's going to do it for the Jays. They come away with nothing. We go to the bottom of the second, and it's still 2-1 ball game. And Jimmy Key will try to prevent the Mariners from hitting the ball to right field. That's his goal in this one. Here's Dave Valley, the catcher. Actually, he's a DH in this game. He is a catcher, but he's performing the DH duties today. He's hitting 197 on the replay, a homer and 6 driven in. He had 256 real world. That's a 4-10 right-handed. That's a fly ball to center field. And there is 1 away. For the catcher in this game, Bob Kearney. I know these are household names. Bob Kearney has 16 at-bats in the replay. He's hitting 063. In 47 real-world at-bats, he had 170. So not exactly a juggernaut at the plate. 2-2, and that's a fly ball to center field again. 2 fly balls to Moseby in center. 2 down for Ray Quinones, the shortstop. He's hitting 227 on the replay, a homer and 17 driven in. He had 276 real world. That's a 4-8, and that's a line out right to second base, where it is snagged by Orge, and that's will do it. 1-2-3 inning for Seattle. That's a good one. I like how Uncle Ron phrased that, Tim. Sorry about your tribe being eliminated, but it was a tough series. That's a tough matchup to draw Detroit. I mean, they literally were virtually tied all season long, or at the end. There was a 1-game difference, So that could have gone either way. Hello, Jeremiah. Good to see you. We will start the top of the third. Garth Clockwork Orge. He's really struggling on replay. He's hitting 122 on the replay in 49 at-bats. No homers, 9 driven in. He at 210 real world. 4-8, and that's a 1-19 single. That'll help him out. So he gets the base hit off of Morgan's card. And that'll bring up Tony Fernandez. He's an A bunter, but he's also hitting in real world. He hit 322, and on the replay, he's hitting 370, so there's no way in the world I'm having him bunt. Orge not being held at first. 2-7, and that's a ground ball second base double play, 4-6-3. So you can say you should have had him bunt, but I'm not bunting with a guy that's hitting 370 on the replay. Don't want to take the bat out of his hands. He just had a bad roll, but the odds are he's going to do some damage. Hello, DJ from the left coast. Here's Rance Mullinick. 4-9, and that's a single to right field. Mullinick's 2 for 2. He will not be held. No threat to run. Here's Willie Upshaw. First baseman, Upshaw. Grounded to second his first time up. That's a 112, and he's hit by the pitch. So Morgan let one get away. And now we got first and second, 2 down after the double play. And here comes George Bell, who homered his last time up. His 11th homer of the season. 5-10, and that's another chance for a home run. 1-13, and that's a 9. It's gone. George Bell does it again. This one a 3-run shot. Look at it again. 5-10, and home run 1-13, and that's a 9. George Bell has done it again. So even the double play can't deter the Blue Jays. They put 3 runs on the board on a 3-run bomb by George Bell. George Bell, his 12th home run, RBIs 30, 31, and 32 on the replay. And it's now 5-1 Toronto. And Mike Morgan is stunned. Here's Ernie Whitt. 112 for Whitt, and that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-5, so we'll have him foul out to the catcher. But a 3-run shot for George Bell. He's accounted for all 5 runs. Well, actually 4 of the 5 runs. Molinex had a home run to count for the other one. But he's got 2 home runs and 4 runs batted in. So he's doing his part for sure to help the Jays. We go to the bottom of the third. Jimmy Key giving a big lead to protect now, 5-1. Harold Reynolds will start us off. Reynolds is hitting 241 on the replay. No homers, 7 driven in. He at 275 real world. 110 against the lefty is a single to left field for Harold Reynolds. And normally Reynolds will be looking to run, but A, they're down 5-1, and B, they got that -5 hold rating, so they don't really trust it. So they'll have John Moses, and you're down by 4 runs, you're not going to bunt. So we're going to have Moses swing away. He walked and scored his first time up. 2-9, and this time he singles to center. So back-to-back base hits. Puts runners at first and second. Nobody out. Back come the Mariners. Here's Phil Bradley. He doubled his last time up. 3-8, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Key, and a big one. Get that first out. Now a double play gets you out of the inning. Here's Christensen. He grounded to short his first time up. Infield looking for that double play. 4-9, and that's a pop up to third, so that's almost as good if you're Jimmy Key because the runners can't advance. 2 down, and that's the hound dog, Jim Presley, in the clutch. In the clutch, he is completely neutral except for the 2-3. He loses a hit on the 2-3 result. Everywhere else, he's neutral. Get a 6-5, and that is a 1-5 triple. 6-20 is a single, 2 stars. So Presley gets the base hit. It will score Reynolds from second base. Going to third is Moses, and the lead is cut to 5-2. Jimmy Key not used to giving up these runs. Here's Alvin Davis. Presley not being held at first. 6-9, lefty on lefty is a strikeout for Jimmy Key, his third. And that will end the inning. So it's 5-2 after 3 from the Kingdom. We go to the top of the fourth. Morgan back out. Both these pitchers have a 7 for fatigue. So we'll keep track of that. And before it gets any colder, I need another sip of coffee. Got to have the proper equipment. All right. Mosby will lead it off. 3-6 for Mosby, and that's going to be a base on balls. Lead off walk to Mosby. Mosby's looking to run, or at least get the lead. He's a 2-5 to get the lead. Morgan is a +1 hold quotient. He's a 0, and Kearney's a +1. So if he got the lead, it'd be a 1-18, be almost automatic. Needs a 2-5, and he doesn't get it, so he will hold. And here's Rick Leach. 4-8 lefty is a single, 2 stars, and that'll put runners at the corners with nobody out. And Mike Morgan could be looking for some relief. In fact, the Mariner bullpen is already loosening. Left-hander Lee Guterman is loosening in the bullpen. No relation to Jeff Guterman, but Lee Guterman is in the bullpen. Here is Kelly Gruber. Infield back for the double play. They got to have outs. 6-6, and that's a pop out to third. That certainly helps. Now a double play gets him out of the inning. And Garth Iorg is your batter. Iorg did single his first time up. That's a 1-7, and he's going to strike out here. So Morgan trying to work his way out of trouble. Gets a big strikeout, but now he's got to deal with Tony Fernandez. Fernandez is 0 for 2, but he's a very good hitter. And in the clutch, Fernandez is completely neutral. I don't see any changes to his card. So he's completely neutral in the clutch. 3-5, and it's a 1-16 single, but that's an 18, so he's going to line it to second, and that'll end the inning. So Morgan pitches out of that mess. First and third, nobody out, and they don't score. Very unusual for the Blue Jays to not to cash in, but credit Morgan. He did what he had to do. Keep his team in the game. Jimmy Key back out. Will face Valley, Kearney, and Quinones. That's a 6-8, and that's a strikeout for Jimmy Key, his fourth. And that'll bring up Mr. Kearney. 2-3, and that's a ground ball to second, handled by Iorg. 2 down. For Ray Quinones, the shortstop. That's a 5-6, and that's going to be another strikeout for Jimmy Key, his fifth strikeout of the game to end the inning. So we go to the top of the fifth, still 5-2 Blue Jays. Rance Mulliniks, he's 2 for 2, a homer and a single. Will lead things off. And some reason, how did Tony Fernandez get up here? He should be out. All right, I messed something up on the computer, so I'm going to have to fix something here. This won't take long. Good thing for the boy, without the undo button, I would be in trouble on this Stratmatic computer. I can tell you that. Got to have the undo button. So let's get this back to the top of the fourth where I need it. All right. Let's see, Iorg. And what are we doing here? We got Mosby at first. All right, I didn't give Leach the single. That's what it was. I failed to enter the single for Leach. But I'm almost there. All right, now I'm there. Okay, single. And then we have a pop to third by Gruber. We have a strikeout by Iorg and a line out by Fernandez. All right, in the bottom half, Valley struck out. Kearney grounds to second. And Quinones struck out. All right, now we're back in play. We're back in business with Rance Mulliniks. That's a 6-5, and that's going to be a fly to center. Hauled in by Moses, one away. That'll send us to Willie Upshaw. 4-6, left-handed, is another strikeout from Morgan, so he's picked it up a little bit. Third strikeout. Here comes that guy, George Bell. He's got 2 home runs, 2 for 2. 3-5, but this time he flies to center. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Morgan. So Lee Guterman obviously has long since sat down as Morgan has recovered enough to stay in the game. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Still a 5-2 ball game. Hope everybody's having a happy Friday. Happy Friday morning. Tomorrow, don't forget, the very last game of the NBC Game of the Week season will be tomorrow. We'll be in Fenway Park, 1978, on season ticket baseball. It'll be the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Boston Red Sox, the final game on the NBC Game of the Week schedule. That'll be tomorrow, roughly at noon. Maybe 11 if I feel like getting a little earlier. But all right, here's Harold Reynolds. 5-7, switcher batting right-handed. 5-7 is a ground ball, second base X. That's Orge. He's a 4E13. 4E13 on a 4 and a 5. Double die shows up again. 4 and a 5 is a single. That's an 8, and he is an E13. I don't think that's a problem. It's not, but again, lack of range. Another 4-rated fielder has cost Jimmy Key an out. He's not happy about it. Really doesn't like that. Here's John Moses. They will hold Reynolds on, but down 5-2. He's not going to go anywhere. That's a 1. Jimmy Key has a 6 on a wild pitch rating. So Jimmy Key uncorks the wild pitch. That takes the double play out of it. Unless you get a Lomax. So now Moses with Reynolds at second base. 4-8. Switch hitter batting right is a line out to second. 1 away. Orge is able to snag that one. For Phil Bradley. That's a 4-6, and that's a fly to center. 2 down. As Jimmy Key is trying to prevent them from flying the ball to right field. Maybe they figure with a right-handed heavy lineup that most of the fly balls wouldn't go to right field, and that's why they put Leach in there. I don't know. Don't know what the reasoning was. All right, here's Christensen in the clutch situation. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 2-6 and on 1-6 and 1-12. So a couple spots. He will lose some hits here. 2-8, though, is a ground ball to third, and that's going to end the inning. So the leadoff single from Reynolds doesn't amount to anything, run-wise. And Key pitches around it. Go to the 6th, it is still 5-2 in favor of Toronto. Morgan back out will face Witt, Mosby, and Leach for the Blue Jays. 6-10, and that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-5, so that will be a fly to left field. 1 away for Witt. 1 down, and that brings up Lloyd Mosby, center fielder. 2-8, and that's going to be a 1-10 double. That's going to be a double for Mosby. So Mosby with his first base hit of the game. Here comes Rick Leach. For 7, and that's a 1-4 single. Anything else, he lines to second, and that's a line out to Reynolds for out number 2. Now we got a clutch situation for Kelly Gruber. In the clutch, he loses some hits on 3-8 and 3-9 and on 2-3. So three different places he's anti-clutch. That's a 2-12, and he will foul out to the catcher Kearney to end the inning. So Morgan stabilizing after it looked like he was going to be out of this game. He rights the ship and keeps the score where it is, hoping for his offense to come through. Jimmy Key, uncharacteristically giving up some runs. His ERA has jumped to a catastrophic 1.61 right now. It was 1.48, I think, when the game started. So here's the hound dog, Jim Presley. 5-2, and it's a fly to right field. This time Leach is able to get it. And there's out number 1. And that'll send up Alvin Davis, lefty on lefty. 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Key, and that will be his 6th strikeout. Key trying to become the 10-game winner and set the standard. And what I've decided to do in this replay when the time comes, it's way down the road, but when the time comes, I am going to look at the replay stats and pick my own all-star team and have them play the actual National League all-star team in a game. So obviously Jimmy Key is looking like the all-star starter right now, but long way to go till we get to, July. So here's Valley, 5-9, and that's going to be a fly to right field, and that's going to do it. 3 up and 3 down go the Mariners. We go to the 7th. My voice is kind of crackling on me there. Sorry about that. Maybe I need more coffee. Another swig of coffee. Okay, this is the fatigue inning for both pitchers. Morgan will be facing Orge Fernandez and Mullenix. 1-9, and that is a ground ball to short. Handled by Quinones, one away. Tony Fernandez, your batter. Lee Guterman is back up throwing in the bullpen for the Mariners just in case. 5-6 is a split chance. 1's a single. Anything else, he lines to second. So he will line to second. And boy, they've kept Tony Fernandez off the bases. He is 0 for 4. That's going to cut into his average a bit. So 2 down for Mullenix, the DH. That's a 6-11. That's a ground ball first base X. Alvin Davis, a 4-E9 for Davis. But the double die shows up again, 4-4. That's going to get through for a base hit. That's a 15. I'm sorry, 15. And he is an E9. There is no 15, but it will get through for a base hit. So Mullenix, his third hit of the game. He will not be held at first base. And here is Willie Upshaw. 2-8 for Upshaw, and he pops it up to third. So Morgan will keep some endurance into the 8th inning. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch, but we're going to keep rolling here. Coffee's still decently warm, so we'll keep it going. Kearney is your batter. We are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is allowed. They're already using Davis. I'm sorry, they're already using Valley as the DH. So if you pinch hit for Kearney, then you got to bring in a lefty, Scott Bradley, as your catcher. But I think they need to do that because they need to get something going here. So they're going to pinch hit with Domingo Ramos. Domingo Ramos, a 311 hitter. He will pinch hit for Kearney, and then Scott Bradley would come in and catch. So it'll be Ramos to pinch hit for Kearney here in the 7th inning, and then Bradley will catch in the 8th. So we go to the Strat computer and bring in Ramos. See what he's got going on. Ramos on the replay is hitting 208 in just 24 at bats, 1 homer and 1 run batted in, but he did hit 311 real world. 6-3 is off the pitcher card, so it really didn't matter anyway. Key is a 2E17. 2 and a 10, he'll get to that. E17 and a 12. See if that's any issue. 17, it is an issue. Jimmy Key just booted it. The 12 there under the E17, so it's an E1 on Jimmy Key. 1 base error on Key, and that will bring up Ray Quinones. Ramos, no threat to run, so will not be held. Here's Quinones. 5-10, and that's a catcher X. We're looking at Witt. He's a 2E2. 2 and a 5. That could be interesting. 2 and a 5 is a P/P. That is a 12, and he is an E2. So there's no 12 there, but we'll go to P/P. Might be a pass ball here. P/P, where are you? P/P, there you are. All right, so we're looking at the wild pitch rating of the pitcher Key to determine if it's going to be a pass ball or not. Key is a 6, so 1 to 6, it's a pass ball. 7 or higher, he just pops up to the catcher. And it will be a pass ball on Ernie Witt, and that will move the runner into scoring position with nobody out. Again, takes away the ground ball double play. That continues. Quinones against Key. 4-4. That's a fly ball center field X. Mosby's a 1E7. We're going to roll the D20 just because there's a run on base. He could move up. The double die's real bad. 1 and a 9. I still think it's just an F2. Let's see here. 1 and a 9. Yep, F2's. F1's the only way a runner moves up. That's an 8, and Mosby's an E7. There is no 8, so just a routine fly to center. 1 away. And that brings up Harold Reynolds. Uh, 6-4, and that's going to be a 1-8 home run. That's a 6, but Harold Reynolds has weak power. It will be a single 2 stars. It will not be a home run, but the run does score. Now, it's an unearned run, so it won't hurt his ERA, but it makes it a 5-3 game all of a sudden. And Reynolds might be looking to get chippy here and see if he can get the lead, even with that -5. That's a 4. He gets the lead, so he's going to go 18. Being held to 16, -5's an 11. Still a 55% chance to get in scoring position. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Witt. His T rating's a 4. And that's not going to be a throwing error, but Reynolds will steal it. He gets in a scoring position and also, again, eliminates the double play. It's multi-purpose for stealing, not just to get in scoring position, but to eliminate double plays. And here's Mosby. That's a 1. Jimmy Key's wild pitch is a 6. No wild pitch. 6-2. Moses is a righty. Ground ball shortstop X. That's Fernandez. He's a 1. E17. 1-20. He's not going anywhere on the G1. That is a 14. And he is an E17. E17, there's a 15 and a 16, but no 14. So Fernandez will make the play and Reynolds will hold. 2 down. And that will take us to Phil Bradley. But he is the tying run at the plate. 5-3 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th. That's a 4-5, and that's going to be a fly to left to end the inning. But an unearned run comes across against the Blue Jays, and the score is 5-3 as we go to the 8th inning. And we need to bring in Scott Bradley to catch for Seattle, so that they have a catcher. Morgan will face Bell, and then he will come out of this game. They will bring on Lee Guterman, a lefty, with the lefties coming up. So this is the final at bat, or final batter faced by Mike Morgan. And it will be George Bell, who Bell has taken deep twice. 5-9. 1-3 is a triple. 4-20 is a double. So George Bell is going to send Mike Morgan off with a double against him. And that's going to do it for Mr. Morgan. He is gone. And Lee Guterman going to be coming on. Lee Guterman was 11-4 with a 381 earned run average real world, both as a starter and a relief pitcher. So we'll go to the computer and make that move to bring in Lee Guterman. And this will be Lee Guterman's initial appearance in this replay. He was just called up not that long ago. So this will be the first action for Lee Guterman. He is a +2 hold, which makes him a +3. And he'll be facing Ernie Witt. Lefty on lefty matchup. Hello, Triple G. So Guterman to Witt. Bell not being held at second. 6-6. Lefty on lefty is a fly ball to right. That's 1 away. 1 down. And that takes us to Lloyd Mosby. Another lefty on lefty matchup. 5-5, and that's going to be a 1-6 single. Anything else he lines to second, that's a 13. So he lines it to Reynolds, 2 down. So Guterman off to a good start. And that brings up Rick Leach, but boy, do they want to have Rick Leach out there with his terrible fielding, and he only hit 8% against lefties. So we're going to make the move. We're in the 8th inning, so we're making the move. And we're going to do what they probably should do, and that is put Jesse Barfield out there. So Barfield will pinch hit and stay in the game to play right field. And that is a breath of sunshine for Jimmy Key, as he gets his 1-rated fielder again. But he also gets Barfield's bat, so that's not anything to poo-poo either. All right, something's going on here. What did I mess up here on this computer? Something got out of whack. We had a double there. Wait, something. I'm gonna have to fix the computer because I don't want to slow down this game here. I want to keep it going, so I'll fix the computer later. All right. So here's Barfield, but I can give you what his numbers are. I can at least look that up on the replay. Barfield in the replay is hitting .306, 15 homers, 43 driven in. He at 263 real world. It is a clutch situation with Bell at second base. And against left-handers, he does lose a hit on a 2-7 in the clutch. That's a 3-5, though, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. But even so, you do put that 1-rated right fielder in the game. So Guterman does his job. Tremendous job for Guterman. Morgan's going to go 7+, and he's going to give up a total of 8 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. And let's check his walks and strikeouts. With that strikeout, he struck out 4. And he hit a batter. Only walked 1. I only see 1 walk. That was to Mosby. So that's a decent line for Morgan. 5 runs. Well, not that decent, actually, now I look at it. But Guterman saved him some potential 6 runs. So, all right, so it'll be Christensen, Presley, and Davis due up for the Mariners. 5-3, bottom of the 8th. 3-6, and that's going to be a 1-7 single, and that is a 7. So a base hit for Christensen. And he's not going to be held. He'll hold up there. But the tying run is at the plate. And the hound dog, Jim Presley. That's a 2-7, and that's a strikeout for Presley, and that is strikeout number 7 for Jimmy Key. That'll bring up Alvin Davis, the first baseman. Davis is 0 for 3. 4-6, and now make him 0 for 4, and he's got the hat trick with 3 strikeouts. That's strikeout number 8 for Jimmy Key. And now here's the DH, Dave Valley. He's got some pop against lefties, no question. 5-9, though, he will fly to right, where the new fielder Barfield makes the play. And we go to the 9th. It is a 5-3 Toronto lead. Tom Hinkie is loosening the Toronto bullpen. He may be coming in to get the save in the 9th. We shall see how Jimmy Key is feeling. Maybe Key wants to finish it himself. Jimmy Key has 3 complete games out of his 10 starts, so he certainly can go the distance if needed. So here's Gruber against Guterman. 6-6, and that's a single to center field. Maybe Toronto's looking for some insurance. Gruber, chance to get a lead, needs a 4 or a 5 to get that lead. Does not get it. He will hold. Here's Garth Orge. He is a B bunter, so we're going to go ahead and have Orge bunt. I know I don't like to bunt that often, but I think this might be they're playing for 1 run, basically. They're trying to get a 3-run lead if they can. So the bunt will be going to the pitcher, Guterman. And now let's see if they play inner back. They are playing in, so that's going to make Orge a C bunter. So C bunter, and that's an 8. It's still a good sacrifice. So it's going to be a sacrifice, 1-4, with Gruber going to second base. And that brings up Tony Fernandez, who was 0 for 4 as a left-handed hitter, but now he gets to turn around and bat right-handed. That's a 3-9, and that's going to be a fly to left. That's out number 2. Now it's up to Mullenix as the DH, but he only faces lefties 5% of the time, so Mullenix is going to be called back, and we're going to bring in this guy, Cecil Fielder. He will pinch hit and stay in the game as the DH. So Cecil Fielder gets to come on. in a clutch situation. Now, first base is open. They could always walk fielder and pitch to Upshaw, and that's what they're going to do. So they're going to force their hand, and they're going to walk Cecil Fielder intentionally and go lefty-lefty against Upshaw. So Willie Upshaw, 2 outs and 2 on. Clutch situation again. Loses a hit on 1-3. That's a 5-7 lefty on lefty. That's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Quinones. He's a 3E31. Is Quinones. 3 and a 5. Double die shows up again at the worst times. 3 and a 5 is a G3 pound, but they weren't holding anybody on, so the G3 is good. That's a 12. Quinones is an E31. E31, there's no 12, so Quinones makes the play, and that's going to end the inning. So Guterman does his job. He goes 2 innings. And let's see what he gives up here. He only gives up 1 hit and a walk, which was intentional. And he struck out 1 and gave up nothing. So bottom of the 9th we go. Jimmy Key still has a tiny bit of endurance left in this 5-2 game, but he's going to face Scott Bradley, and they have to let Bradley hit because he came in to catch, and they have no other catchers unless they pinch hit for him and move Valley to catcher and lose their DH. But really, all the good hitters they have on the bench are left-handed, so might as well stick with Bradley. So here we go, Key to Bradley. 6-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Fernandez. He's a 1. We know he's going to get to it. E17, the only errors on an E17 are 15, 16, and 17. He's got to avoid those 3 numbers. And he does. So Tony Fernandez makes the play. 1 down for Ray Quinones, the shortstop. Like I said, the Mariners really don't have anything on the bench to go to. They're pretty much stuck with who they have. They have Ken Phelps, but he's a lefty. They have Mike Kingery, he's a lefty. They have Rich Renteria, righty, but he hit 100, so I don't think you want to bring him in. So they're pretty much stuck with who they have. Their one big guy to use was Ramos off the bench. That's right-handed. So that's another reason to leave Key in there. If you bring in Hinkie, you're going to get Phelps and some of these other left-handed hitters in there. So they want Key to finish what he started. 1-6 against a lefty is a strikeout. So Jimmy Key, number 9 strikeout. Going for his 4th complete game. He's 1 out away from doing it. Got to get by Harold Reynolds. That's a 2-9, and that's a base hit for Reynolds. That keeps the game going. Reynolds is 4 for 4 in the number 9 spot. How about that? Not going to steal because his run doesn't mean anything. It's the run on. It's the batter at the plate that means something. And now I believe Jimmy Key may be tired, but he's going to try to get through it. 5-4, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-5, but that's a 10, and that's going to do it. He pops it up to Upshaw at first, and there's your ball game. Jimmy Key, yet another victory. He now improves to 10-0 with a 5-3 victory. 3 runs, 2 of them were earned as he gets the complete game. Let's check the errors here. Toronto had 1 error. That was Jimmy Key. I don't believe Seattle had any errors. Hits, Toronto had 9. And let's see, Seattle had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits I've got Seattle for. So Morgan drops to 2-5. He's the losing pitcher. Jimmy Key improves to 10-0. He struck out 9, and he walked the leadoff man Moses, and that was his only walk. After he walked Moses, he didn't walk any other batters. So there you go. Toronto now 28-14. Seattle drops to 16-28. And May 25th schedule is now complete. I already played Oakland and Baltimore offline, and Oakland won that game. So we are off to the 26th on Monday morning. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that will be Chicago and Boston. Because, again, I like to go east or try to go east to west geographically on these replays, or on this replay anyway. So I will check it out just to make sure, but I believe on May 26th, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Bob Stanley start for the Red Sox, but I'll double check it. It's a Tuesday, real world in 1987. May 26th was a Tuesday. No, it's actually going to be Al Nipper and Greg Swindell. That's the matchup. Al Nipper, Greg Swindell on Monday morning, roughly 9 o'clock. Al Nipper and Greg Swindell, Cleveland at Boston. That'll be the ball game for Monday morning to start the May 26th block. It'll be game number 297 on the replay, or maybe 298. I don't know if I've logged the Baltimore game in yet, so I'm not sure. Might be 297. I haven't looked to see. But we're getting close to that 300 mark. But there is Jimmy Key. Jimmy Key is the man. He is now 10-0 in the replay. So I appreciate all you folks spending part of your Monday morning, your Friday morning with me. You better hope it's not Monday morning. Your Friday morning with me. Hope you all have a great weekend coming up, whatever you have planned. Stay safe out there. If the weather's nice, enjoy that. And no game tonight because of high school football, but tomorrow around 12 o'clock, around noon Eastern, will be the final NBC game of the week on Season Ticket Baseball. It will be the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox from Fenway Park, 1978. So that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing with whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.